Yeah, guys, I want to remind everybody that this episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. Fantasy football is back, so fire up the group chat, get your draft board ready, and buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, and all the overreactions that we live for, and it's all going down on Yahoo Fantasy. This year, UCSS is back playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. And it all begins on August 4th. So stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That's yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. And let's make this fantasy season the best one yet.
Quickly.
Scary Terry got paid.
Oh, good. I know you like that.
Bucks.
Your boy.
I did not see this until I made my statement. I threw it to the break. It moved 1 minute ago. At least on my feed it did. I just saw an article by Brad Crawford of CBS, and he's detailing Kevin Stefanski's decision not to play Shedeur Sanders. It's for exactly the same reason that I was about to give. It's about development, and I think this was to all the fans and all the crazy noise. I don't concern myself with outside type of things, but I'm committed to his development.
We had the soundbite.
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Do we have that soundbite?
Yeah, we do. I cut it for this thing.
If we have it, we might as well play it. So this is Kevin on his decision not to play. No, we don't have it.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me find it.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Anyway, yeah.
It goes into. So I know a lot of people were like, why didn't he come in the and I did want to see him. I did
want to see him too. But
however,
I understand why they
keeping him in there can be detrimental, and I think it served two major masters while making that decision. Number one, what had we seen from Shedeur that led us to believe he was going to now take them down the field 60 yards?
I said the same thing, Jay.
Nothing. I mean, if I saw a little bit of a glimpse, get them back out there, let's go. But you're forced to make real-time decisions that affect people's psyches and careers. As much as everyone was screaming for Shedeur Sanders to get that 2-minute drive, what if he throws a pick six? What if he goes 3 and out? Or in this case, you're not going to punt because it's the game. What if he doesn't keep the ball rolling? And what had you seen to make you think that he was going to do that? So I think Kevin was protecting Shedeur from himself.
Yeah.
We've got a body of work. Let's put that in bubble wrap and let's go think about that. But here's the bigger reason. He's got a decision to make when it comes to his 53 that will dramatically impact games this season. And it's exactly what I talked about Friday. What do you want to see Friday? This is what I said. You weren't here. I want to see 12 drives that end on our 35-yard line.
Okay.
Or on the opposition's 35, plus
I mean,
35.
you're playing the 3s and the 4s. You might as well.
And here's why I wanted to see that.
Kick.
I want 6 kicks from Dustin Hopkins, and I want 6 kicks from Schmidt. Who's my better kicker? And I'm going to use this game to figure it out. Because that might be one of the most important positions, and people are going to laugh at this. We finished dead last in the league last year in points scored, 16. We had the worst kicker in the league. I know it's football, and I know everybody thinks quarterback, running back, wide receiver. You leave a lot of points on the table with a kicker.
Yeah.
We almost lost that game yesterday because of our kicker.
Yeah. Missed the field.
So
missed the
they're over there saying, you know what? Look, let's not make it any worse for Shedeur. Let's just cut bait right there.
It is what it is.
He's a developmental quarterback. We're not going to need him. Let's build his psyche up. We're not going to build him up if he goes out there and loses the game for us. At least with Huntley, this guy's a former Pro Bowler. I didn't agree with the decision that he was a Pro Bowler.
You can't say that with
no, I can't.
You can't say it with a straight
I can't. Look it up.
He got it.
Look it up.
He had 2 touchdowns and 3
Ty,
picks
you're
that
not
year.
the defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl because I think someone else played better.
Yes,
you are forever and always.
I mean, no,
and that's it. And I don't care. I don't care, Mike.
This is the biggest asterisk in the history of any resume.
Okay, but guess what?
Well,
when he retires and you look at his page, Pro Bowler.
Fair.
I mean,
is what he's
Mike,
gonna say.
No, you're right, but it's just
even
such a
before I
joke.
could get that out of my mouth, I was saying I didn't agree with it, but he was a Pro Bowler.
Fair.
So here's what Kevin
correct.
Stefanski's thinking. This dude can go against insurance salesmen and get me in field goal range. He can do that. Why? I need to see if Schmidt can make a pressure kick. He did it.
I know
he made the kick.
That's fair.
We are going to talk kickers, and I agree because I would cut Hopkins today, and I'll save the rest of it.
Oh, he's gone.
I'll save it.
No, Hopkins is gone.
We're going to
He's
do
gone.
That. I promise we'll get to that. But first, the Shedeur 2-minute drill thing. I hear everything you're saying. and wanted to protect. It's almost like a relief pitcher in baseball who just got shelled and you're going to send him back out for another inning. I hear what you're saying.
Guys do it to punish them.
I get what you're saying. At the same time, how often can you truly replicate a 2-minute drill situation for a young developmental quarterback?
I agree.
They come
Mike,
around.
what did you see that made you think he could suddenly do it?
Whatever he showed me is more important than whatever the hell Tyler Huntley does. Because you knew you were cutting Tyler Huntley regardless.
Tyler Huntley served a purpose.
To get your kicker.
He got our
I
kicker
get
the pressure kick we needed to see him make.
I get that. But I think in a big scale picture here,
Yes.
I understand, and I just gave Shedeur the worst grade of all three of us. Like, I know I saw nothing positive from that little stretchy play, but had he come and led a 2-minute drill, maybe we don't know. We cannot say with any conviction that he would or wouldn't have. We have no idea.
All we have
if
is
if he comes out and does that, then we're having a totally different conversation
today. It erases
today.
some of the negative.
It's a complete, to me,
but what if he doesn't?
Waste.
What if he played exactly how he had played when he was in?
Then how much worse could his psyche get? He just had 5 sacks and 11 dropbacks and had 14
here's how much worse. You had a chance to win the game, and you lost it for us. At least this way, and I know it's a preseason game.
You have
everything cares.
You have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Just like Schmidt Schmidt doesn't care about preseason results. That kick was for a paycheck. That kick was for a job.
I get that, but when you're looking at this development of Shedeur, which whether or not you agree with, you are invested in developing Shedeur Sanders. You drafted him in the 5th round. Your job's to develop him. We saw Dylan run a 2-minute drill and operate it well.
Yes, well.
You cannot, like in all the preseason games they play, it's not like you could just say 2-minute drill, go against the live defense in a live game.
No.
Like those don't come around often. So when it is there and it's right in your lap, it is incredibly valuable.
Like I said at the beginning, it's
very
as
valuable.
close as you can get to replicating the regular season.
If it was another guy that maybe was competing with Shedeur for a roster spot, if Huntley was, they drafted a 3rd rookie quarterback, fine, give it to him. But you knew you were cutting Huntley. There was no benefit other than trying to get a kick. And if you want to die in the hill, I hear you. I hear
to
you.
me,
but
that's
other
a big
than that,
enough reason.
There's no other reason that Shedeur shouldn't have been out there. There's no other reason.
There's no reason, by the way.
My theory
is
that I believe
he had seen enough.
He definitely seen enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, he sees them all the time, so he knows what he can do in 2 minutes. I think, to be honest with you, I believe Kevin Stefanski is one of those guys that will die on the fact that he's overall a good dude, right? He take care of people. Even when he shouldn't, he take care of his guys.
Yeah. He protects them to a fault.
Right.
Okay.
He's not Bill Belichick who cut a guy on Christmas Day.
Right. With that being said, I think he looked at Snoop and said, listen, we going to cut you, but I'm going to give you one last chance to go out here because I respect you.
Get some tape for another team.
Get some tape, show that you can execute a 2-minute drive, and maybe somebody might pick you up.
But how much more tape does he need on Snoop? He's a Pro Bowler, right?
He's got a damn Pro Bowler. Aiden O'Connell just got hurt.
I don't buy that.
Then on top of that, I said to myself, we know a lot of these guys is going to get cut too. They might not never play another snap in the league again. So
give
them a win.
Yeah, give them
a chance to go out there and win. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I agree with you. Kevin Stefanski's a nice guy, but I think Kevin Stefanski has one thing on his mind: finding the best 53 players for his football team.
I feel like a lot of that was done before the game.
Not a kicker.
Not the kicker. That's fair.
Before we get to the rest,
that's fair. By the way, what position scores more points than any other?
Kicker.
Yeah.
Before we get to that,
let's get that right.
That's very fair.
Before we get to that,
that's my theory.
I want to ask you guys something on this, though. There was some national media members, like not just local, but like we're talking national, including some that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
Say
Skip
that
Bayless.
Joe Thomas.
Skip. I don't know if Joe said this.
Joe said he said he don't understand what the.
Oh no, he's going to go in a different direction.
I'm going in a different direction. Justina Anderson, who's been on the show. Yep. We had Ocho Cinco and TJ Hushmanzada and Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
All say that they believe Stefanski intentionally set up Shedeur to fail in this game.
That's again.
Do you buy that?
Again, that's as laughable as all of the other conspiracy theories surrounding Shedeur Sanders.
But you know what though? I understand
Skip
why.
Bayless did that too.
I can understand why that happened though. Like why somebody will pull that. You know why?
That's what we said.
Why would they do that? Because of the Baker thing, how it ended here. They kept sending him out there, and he knew he was hurt.
And not only did he keep sending him out there,
so it ain't like we can't just pull it out of nowhere. Like why people could come up with this.
That's fair. I mean, the Baker thing, he kept putting him out there without a tight end to chip, one of the best defensive ends in football.
And James Hudson.
And Baker got with Hudson as his bodyguard.
So it's not. So when people say stuff like it ain't crazy,
Listen,
it's like I understand where it comes from.
I don't buy the Shedeur thing.
No,
any
I don't.
More than I buy
don't.
the Baker thing.
Ah.
I don't understand how Ivy League educated people kept saying, "Yep, let's keep going out there. No tight end on the right side. Let's."
I don't get it either.
I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me, but it happened. Now, if maybe someone from above had made the decision, we're moving on from Baker. We don't need to make Baker look great in his last game.
What if they don't play him?
Then don't play him.
Yeah.
I'm better with that. Don't send him out there to get crushed.
But at the same time, it is
think-
partially Baker's fault too because he kept wanting to go out there.
Not only that, how about you change the protection?
At least chip him.
You can do. Well, you can do that. You can change it. You can make
Slide.
at the line.
Yeah.
Where you
But I'm
bring the
just
tight
saying,
end in
I
motion.
bring that up to say I understand why people could
Okay,
feel
that's
like
fair.
it's not like he hasn't quote unquote sabotaged it, whether you believe it or not.
Tyler,
he has
let me ask you this,
allegedly sabotaged.
you've
somebody
been in
before.
preseason games. You've been a guy who love you, Ty, but you've been cut before. So like you've
9
been
times.
You've been on the bubble.
Is that true?
Yeah.
9
You've been on the
times.
bubble. For anyone who says
Seattle, Cleveland, Indy, San Fran, Jets, Houston, Dallas, Denver, CFL.
so, for anyone who would say Ty, this,
I needed one more. I needed one more.
you have the Tom Brady reincarnation picture instead of Super Bowl rings. It's I was cut from.
Cut 9 times.
But Ty, there were people I saw online
That's a badge
saying,
of honor. That means you were good enough to be.
Oh
brought
yeah,
in.
that's how my agent said. He said, "Listen, people keep claiming you, people keep signing you."
That's right.
do you think that any of the players who were on the field, and you've been in the situation where you're fighting for a roster spot, you're fighting to put good tape on field.
Yeah.
There's no way that a player out there was intentionally not blocking or not doing what they're supposed to do.
Why
right?
would they do that? They're fighting for jobs too.
I'm just letting the former pro who's been in this situation
Yeah.
answer the question.
Somebody said that.
Answer the question.
A lot of people.
Said that the other players.
Yes, we got super chats on a post-game show.
I want to sabotage him so badly that I'm going to get myself cut.
Yeah, I'm done with myself. This is it for me too.
Hey, Ole, you can get him. Ole.
I ain't never heard that.
No,
one.
that was that's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
So me, I think all of them are a bridge too far.
So we just clarify that there's no way that these guys are out there.
I'm competing for my own job
Yeah.
here. So and the thing is, even if I don't make this team, 31 other
Yep.
teams is watching this, so I can make a team or a practice squad something. So you don't really want to put bad tape out there. Nobody. I've never heard of it.
Even going, because that one I don't.
If you're going to do something, try to get hurt. That's what you do. You try to get yourself hurt
get
so
in the
you can
payment-
get paid.
Yeah, get in the payment plan. I think that, first of all, I think all of these conspiracy theories are just illegitimate. I don't give any of them any credence whatsoever. The Browns drafting him to have him to set him up to fail with a 5th round pick. If he was an undrafted free agent, I might listen to that for 2 seconds instead of 1. But when you bring a guy in, with the exception of like some situations like Huntley, he wasn't making this team. They needed a healthy quarterback to run camp.
Yeah.
So they brought him in.
I mean, technically, they could have got rid of him after the first game.
They could have. They
But
absolutely could have.
Again, they
But-
got love and respect for him.
Yeah,
so
so
whatever.
let him go.
Shedeur got hurt versus Philly, though. He didn't even play, so they needed Huntley in that second game.
that's
Yeah, no, they had to have him. I mean, they could have cut him before the last game if they wanted to, but what's the point? So for me, when I read that they're setting him up to fail, and the other one last week that we actually gave credence to because every time we talk about these, we breathe life into them. When have we done that with a 5th round draft pick? When?
GTR.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about DTR to this extent. Not even
Yes,
close.
we did.
Are you nuts?
Yes,
Are you
we
nuts?
did.
I mean,
Bro, that's all we do on this show
the
is talk about
starting
Shedeur Sanders.
quarterback.
We've got record numbers this month.
Yeah, because of Shedeur.
Yes.
1,000%.
Yes, but
So that's my point.
So, wait a minute.
What I'm saying is,
DTR was killing it in his preseason.
oh, we were singing. his
Everybody
praises,
was,
but
get rid of Josh Dobbs. We don't need him.
They did trade
and
Josh
they did.
Dobbs.
Exactly.
And they did.
They say,
But-
so don't say we ain't talked about no backup because yes,
not-
we did.
we have. I'm saying
not to
to
this much.
extent.
No, not
Oh
this
no no no
much.
no no
I mean,
no
it's-
no.
He's in every show.
Yeah, never mind.
So
yeah,
when
no.
I saw Skip and his video yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, I have PTSD. Post-traumatic skip.
It's Tebow skip syndrome.
I lived through this for 2 years with Tim Tebow. I lived through it. I'm not kidding you. This guy, who I respect his sports takes almost as much as anyone, he would come in every morning with a straight face and make the argument that he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Tim Tebow.
Yes.
In college.
No.
With the Broncos.
With the Broncos. And they remember they made the playoffs that year and they were like 9-7 and they kept winning games at the very end, and it was I've never seen anything like it, the phenomenon. Mm-hmm. Our ratings, our overnight ratings, we can break it down minute by minute. Here's what the graph looked like. Tim Tebow. Other stuff.
Very similar to
Tim
us
Tebow.
with Shedeur right
Same
now.
thing. It's the same factor. I've lived this twice. Skip could not have been more wrong about Tim Tebow. And I was trying to push back against the Tim Tebow show. Every day I would say, what are we doing here, guys? We all see what he was 17 for 40, but they won the game. So he kept getting just enough to keep the flames going on Tim Tebow until he couldn't. And it was Denver's fault. They set him up to fail. They weren't running the right offense. This guy was so good in college. How can he not be good in the NFL? I don't know. Ask Archie Griffin. Ask a million players. How can they be so successful in college and not in the... There's a myriad of factors. When he went to the Jets, he's going to take the Jets to the playoffs. On and on and on. It was the same. You could watch it with your eyes and you could say, no, that's not what it looks like. I'm sorry, that's not it. But Skip insisted and insisted. So when I saw his video about criticizing Kevin Stefanski and get him out of there so he has a chance, it just took me right back to the Tim Tebow days. What in God's green earth did you see Saturday that makes you still think that the Browns are sabotaging this kid and they don't want him to succeed? It's the same nonsense that we discussed last week. Oh, yeah. Eric Dickerson comes out and says, I got a good source way up the food chain at the NFL, and he told me specifically all teams were called and told, do not draft him. We're going to teach him a lesson. Tyvis, does that happen in the NFL that you know?
Never heard of it. And even if if he was like that type of guy, he was really
him.
that good, they would tell Roger Goodell, I'm drafted.
That's what I said on Friday. It's a meritocracy.
You got me messed up.
Hey,
this
you
dude
can
is
tell the other 31
this is a
teams.
franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't care what you talking about. I'm
If they
drafted.
saw it, they would have drafted him.
I see. It's people. That get drafted with that has domestic violence, and DUIs and all that, and they still go in the first round. So you mean to tell me just because he said no draft, you think I'm gonna listen to that?
No. That is to me the most laughable of all of them.
Yeah,
that somebody would put out there a theory that all the teams were called. This is a good kid.
Exactly.
He's likable. You can't help but root for Shedeur Sanders.
Well, I tell you what, Shedeur is not Shedeur.
No,
everybody loves Shedeur.
It has nothing to do with
fan
Shedeur.
base
Yes.
that people are starting to have the problem.
And you know what I said before we drafted him? If you draft him, you're drafting the circus.
Yeah, well.
Because with Shedeur is going to come a whole universe of planets that circle around Shedeur. But you don't just get Shedeur. You get Dion on a Monday after a Colorado win being asked questions, do you think that Kevin Stefanski is using your son properly? You're going to get that. And Dion's not one to hold fire, okay? So now do you want to start responding, if you're Kevin, to the head coach at Colorado, who's one of the greatest football players of all time?
Well, Kevin,
do you want that? And there were a lot of
claims
teams
he
that
doesn't
said,
look at. He don't listen to that stuff.
Guess what? You can claim that
They all hear it.
but you hear it. And here's the thing. If Kevin Stefanski, I still think, I'll go down forever saying that the decision to draft Shedeur Sanders was an owner decision.
I agree.
You can read the body language of the coach and the general manager when they had to make the pick.
Yep. They said that the camera was off, but for the other 4 picks, it was on.
Right.
It's ironic
Yes.
to me.
So to me,
and plus, Shedeur sells tickets. He gonna sell tickets here. If the Browns went 0-16 and they announced our last game, we playing Shedeur Sanders, that stadium will sell out.
Look at the rating.
There were more Shedeur jerseys at the game on Saturday.
It was between him and Chubb. Him and Chubb. It was close.
No. You were there.
Yeah, it was close.
At least where I was sitting, there was more Shedeur jerseys than everyone else combined. Everyone else combined.
So it's a phenomenon.
A lot of
and that's what I said. When you draft him, you're drafting a lot of unnecessary drama. We already lead the league in drama every year. We'll find a way to do it this year. We've already done it this year. Between Shedeur and
Miles.
And the Miles stuff was a mild distraction, but to me the bigger distraction was when you draft a guy highly and he can't sign a contract or get on the field. That's drama because you've done that 2 years in a row now. So you can always count on. I always say every year. They say I didn't have that on my bingo card. The Browns bingo card has 10,000 spaces because you have to put all the absurd things on there that you normally wouldn't with the regular team because they invite drama. They lead the league in drama. And they're leading the league in drama this year. And so why would you...
I wouldn't say they lead the league in drama.
This year or always?
This year.
I mean...
I don't know.
Micah Parsons, the Trey Hendrickson.
There's one player, there's one rookie that doesn't have his contract signed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's ours. But
ain't nobody even talking about that.
No, because you know why? Because he was facing domestic violence charges until they went away. And now he is unsigned. Now this is a position that is so critical to success in today's NFL. It's more critical now than it was 5 years ago. We let go the most popular player in the franchise's last decade. We let him go. Mm-hmm. The guy that was supposed to come in and make us forget about him can't get his cleats on the grass.
Well, I don't know why they thought that. I don't know.
Well, no, when they drafted him, they thought he was going to make us forget about Nick Chubb. Why would you do it? Why would you do it?
Jay's right on this one.
And so
if he ran for 1,100 yards, we wouldn't even talk about Chubb.
It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers was doing his tour, I'm like, stay away, guys, because guess what you get with Aaron Rodgers? You get the Thursday headline that he went on McAfee and said something stupid.
But they talking about you, though.
So? They've been talking about us for 30 years. What has that gotten us?
National attention, something we don't get.
No, we get a lot of it. Guess
No,
what?
we
It
don't.
all begins
Everybody
with a B.
talk about it all the
It's all
time.
bad attention.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I want to lead the league in good attention.
Well, if you want good attention, I'll just give you guys this. I saw it this morning. First Take led this morning with, what do you think?
Shedeur.
Yeah.
Sure they did. You know why? They're ratings whores.
That's what I'm saying.
I lived that. That's what I'm saying. I lived that for 3 years. I lived it. And that's was Stephen A. wasn't our regular Skip opponent during those years. We would bring in other guys. And week after week, he'd sit across from 5 different guys who would say, Skip, you're out of your tree. And Skip would give crazy reasons why Tim Tebow was going to be better than Tom Brady. He actually said that. and we would just sit there and go, what are we doing? And then the overnight ratings would come out and we'd look at him and say, oh my God.
Yeah.
People watch this crap. And that's why they're leading with Shedeur Sanders today. Why?
So when you say they don't get attention, they're getting plenty of it right now.
That's what they used to. They are now.
Oh, okay.
We always
now they're dead.
We always lead.
We
the
did
league
not
in
last.
Guys, you know what I want to give some attention to?
Deshaun Watson.
Kickers.